Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic. That's no classics. This is episode number 2162 and Doubleshot number 2055. These two trades feature some sexy ladies. Yep. First up we have is, Power Girl. Power Trip. Yep. This is actually a combination about a couple different trades combined into one. Yeah, the original Power Trip trade plus the one that came afterwards. This trade here collects the 4-issue JSA Classified. The first 4 issues of that, basically her stories from that series, along with her 12 issues of her 27-issue second volume of her ongoing series. And this by fact is not listed in the back of the trade. It is listed inside the trade itself. Right here. Yes, we have a story from issue 600 of Wonder Woman, which makes it one of 3 stories that's actually put in the trade because the Odyssey Prelude, that's in trade. The third thing that's been collected at least twice now, and also the opening story was actually collected in the Wonder by Gail Simone Omnibus book. So effectively, there's still 2 stories not been collected yet. Don't know why. Mostly put with these issues, we just have like a lot of really fun stuff in here. Now, Jeff Johns just does the JSA Classified issues, while in the case of, we also have, we have Amanda Conner do some writing here. She just does the story Fuzzy Logic. That's actually from the Wonder Woman issue. It's just a Wonder Woman and Power Girl team up issue where they basically hang out with her cat. Yep. The main writer for the issues are Justin Gray and Jim Palmiotti. Amanda Conner does the artwork. Jim Hunt does the inking for Power Trip. The cover here is held by Amanda Conner and Paul Mods. The Power Trip, this is the Jeff Johns one. This is from JSA Classified. Also, but just try to explore her backstory. There's lots of really sexy imagery with her partially nude. And, well, they do kind of a bit of retcon with her boob window. Like, first it was like, oh, because of course there'll be a symbol, whatever. Hamburger on her own, and of course working with League of Superhero, but Jeff Johns himself would never. Here's the thing about Jeff Johns. He never, despite the fact he has written the League of Superheroes and other books, this is something quite strange about Jeff Johns. He's never written a League of Superheroes ongoing series. And you're thinking, really? He hasn't? Yeah, he never has. I mean, you look up his page, there is no League of Superheroes book. Keith Giffen has. That's why he featured them in Booster Gold. Jay the Mightiest never wrote, I think there may be a couple issues of basically Legion, but Jeff Johns never wrote them before. Oh, by the way, Power Girl does mention about Lightning Lad's code named Live Wire. That's actually from the post-Zero Hour version. This, I could tell by looking at the costumes, it could be post-Zero Hour. That's the one I can think, pre-Zero Hour. So it's actually a really good story hanging out with, well, of course, you have stuff with Psycho Power in here. Now, once the ongoing series starts up, of course, you also have where you have Star Industries, basically the company owned by Power Girl. And secret that you have Karen Starr. Yep. Yeah, and then, of course, she does her own thing where she runs into the Ultra Humanite, the real one. Fun fact about this one. This actually is, if I've read online, this is confirmed to be the first post-crisis appearance of the Ultra Humanite because they never really had him in Presne before. This is the first Presne appearance of him. He's in this opening story arc here. And of course, appearance with a JSA. But of course, basically, I should point out though, she is joining the series once the series starts up for basically as a, well, they kind of make her psychic per se. It's Ali, aka Tara. Yes, the character that Jalen Palmiotti and Amanda Conner created when she first showed up in Supergirl, Volume 5, Issue 12, which I kind of mentioned this to them. They kind of remade the issue for her first appearance in Starfire. Yeah, basically they made her a supporting character in Starfire because she created the character. And Allie's here for pretty much this entire run because here's something quite weird though about her. And it relates to Power Girl. Yeah, here's the thing about her. Like, she's in the opening 12 issues of this book. And then she's dropped from the book for some reason. I don't know why. It is by far one of the most strangest ideas I have ever heard for Allie. Yeah, here she is. She appears in this in the pretty much this run, and yeah, she's actually no, she's actually in the opening 12 issues and 13. But after 13, she's never seen the book ever again. Nope. Because with new creative team, they apparently decided to drop from the book for some reason. I have no idea why. But they did. They dropped from the book. And you might be thinking, was it a baffling decision that DC decided to, that whoever wrote the book decided to drop from the book for no reason? Well, the writer of the book at the time was Joe Winnick, so of course he dropped it for the book. But here's the thing about pre-Flashpoint Alley. Aside appearing in Power Girl, her first appearance was actually in the pages of Terror Titans. Issue number 1. That was her first, well, actually her first appearance with pages that was issue of Supergirl. A one-issue of Supergirl. That was released back in 2007. Yep. Which at the time, for the longest time, this issue was skipped. When they collected this in trade, they skipped this issue, but eventually they did put it into trade. They put it in the Supergirl Girl of Tomorrow trade. And it was reprinted in Supergirl Identity. Mm-hmm. Of course, Allie appeared in Terror Titans. Popped up for an issue of Teen Titans. Had her own miniseries just prior to this one. And I guess her reward for having a very successful ongoing series is to, well, make her a supporting character in Power Girl. Yep, first appearing in issue 3 and here up to the very end. And then, of course, she appeared in also JSA and, of course, 10600. Yep. Now, a lot of really good stuff here, like really good friends, just hanging out, go to the movies. Really fun stuff when it comes to them. And I really enjoyed these opening 12 issues. I really enjoyed this book. This, of course, is really good. I give this book a 10 out of 10 because it's that damn good. It's a shame, though. I do not... if I get a chance to ask them about this, I'm going to ask them, why did they leave this book after only 12 issues? Because Joe Winnick pretty much did the next story arc, and he had 2 writers who did the book prior to the book ending after 27 issues. Yes, the book managed to last for about 15 more issues before getting canceled. Now, was it canceled low sales? I didn't hear them in low sales, but it was canceled for the New 52. That's the reason the book ended, but this book was really good. Alright, next up we have is Wonder Woman Volume 3, The Villainy of Our Fears. This collects Wonder Woman 787 to 794. This book is written by Becky Cole and Michael Conrad, with Emil Lecreco, Michael Lecreco, Margaret Savage, Eduardo Precisa, and Jose Luis on the interior artwork. The cover art here and the covers for the trades are done by Yannick Pettick, an artist I have met who's a really good artist. Mostly people with the whole swirl thing, you're probably thinking, which Wonder Woman villain is known for doing this? Dr. Psycho, of course, who also forms a version of Villainy Incorporated. I'm like, that's interesting. Now, I have heard that one guy basically does like this run, and apparently also this is one of DC's lowest selling titles. But my guess is the reason these will cancel Wonder Woman because there's the Wonder Woman fans out there. And sadly, with issue 800, this creative team will leave. So basically, when next year for this run comes out, it will be the last one. Because here's the thing. The book is getting restarted. The number 1. Which is the first new number 1 that Wonder Woman has since 2016. And it's been done by Tom King. I'll get to basically that. So, we have Stuttgart here. We have basically a lot of really good stuff here with this book. I mean, this is a book, I've really enjoyed this book. This is another book I really enjoyed. Steve Trevor is here, but he doesn't hang out with Wonder Woman very much, despite the fact being her boyfriend. Yeah, so this is technically the second version of Villainy Incorporated in this run, because Greg Rucka brought back Villainy Incorporated for his run, and then of course wasn't seeing it for quite a while. Now it's back here for a few issues. And this book is only 8 issues. Now this of course comes just after the events of Trial of the Amazon. This is of course right afterwards, and the book ends with appearance by Wonder Girl, the third one. Yep. She shows up, basically, of course they have stuff with the Fates. And here's Wonder Girl. Yep. There's also stuff in here where Dr. Psycho is brainwashing people to hate Wonder Woman because she's Themyscirian. And the fact that people, of course, according to brainwashing, they want a part of Justice League. And, well, yeah. It's just kind of awkward. But look how she has defeat Dr. Psycho. And crushes the robot that basically was made to look like her. She had no choice but to kill, like a mercy killing. I don't think the robot, if I can tell, the robot had no issue being destroyed by Wonder Woman. It's like she was fine with it. But in the case of this book altogether, it's a pretty interesting book. I do like this book. It feels like Wonder Woman. It feels like something you would see from Wonder Woman stories. Somewhat, anyways. We also mentioned here by Veronica Cale. Yes, Veronica Cale. A character who, it seems like any time this character shows up, a lot of the time it's written by Greg Rucka. One of the rare times she wasn't was she popped up in Doom Patrol, which was my Keep Giving Jane Dematius. Yep. This book is pretty good. I give this book I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Now, what I heard about the relaunch of this book under Tom King is that apparently in the opening issue, apparently there was new law put in place that all Amazons are banned from the United States and Wonder Woman's on the run. I'm like, manipulating the U.S. law to pass law to ban all Amazons in the country. That sounds like a plot by Dr. Psycho. Yeah, well, I heard that it sounds like something Dr. Psycho would do. Yeah, he would do this. Though this also is something that Purple Man did over in Marvel Comics. So basically, Tom King is ripping off Neil Gaiman. No, seriously, he's ripping off Neil Gaiman. In Neil Gaiman's 1602 miniseries, it was in an alternate future where Purple Man got himself elected president for life and all superheroes executed. Every single one at that point in time. And Steve Rogers was able to avoid this by time traveling back in time to 1602 and altering the past. Yeah, he also posed as Virginia Dare's bodyguard. Who I've heard Virginia Dare's compared to that timeline version of Gwen Stacy because she's a blonde. Yep, so I'm actually quite surprised that we're ending this run after that this number got issue 100 and we're restarting. It's interesting though, but at least they waited a good period of time. I mean, 7 years is a pretty good period of time before a relaunch. At least it's not 1, 2, 3, 4 years before we get. At least it's not like a year or two before we're getting to number 1. At least DC waited. Now I've heard people don't. One person, anyways, doesn't like the fact Tom King is writing this book because he feels as though that after the opening story arc, the book will fall apart. That's his opinion. And he also described, get this, I've heard a couple people describe this to me, that his dialogue for Catwoman was robotic. And I'm like, did we read the same book? I enjoyed the dialogue between Batman and Catwoman. Where the heck does he think he's robotic? It makes no freaking sense at all. Tom King would do that at all. I'm like, it's the question of, were we reading the same book? Because, was that your version of the book? Or my version that you saw that? I didn't see the robotic dialogue at all. Everything felt natural. Yes, seriously. Yep. Now, do I have a problem with Tom King doing Wonder Woman? It's something different. I mean, people have problems with Tom King the last few years because it seems like any character that he writes, he has to give us some kind of trauma. Now, in the case Human Target, a book I think he just wrapped the book. That character, I didn't have a problem with him getting it because This is a guy who goes through about a half a dozen different identities. Of course he would suffer from mental issues. Omega Amsterdam is a war criminal. That was implied. It was never proven that he was a war criminal. Yeah. But that's here or there. Okay, so that's a particular view. Later, next up is going to be Kamen Rider, and then their Comic Corner, and then beyond to, well, I think our first anime I'll do will be Dragon Stampede. Okay,